Warm colors, cool colors. How do we know the difference? Well, that was a question that one of our YouTube viewers asked me. Let's take a look at it now. Well, first of all, no single color can be warm or cool by itself. In order to be warm or cool, in order for us to read it as warm or cool, it needs another color beside it. There's the first thing. This next thing, warm and cool, is based on the color wheel, on the way the colors are arranged on the color wheel. And let's take a look at the color wheel and I'll show you what I'm talking about. The warmest color of all is yellow, right here. Now this is measurement by the spectrum, and so this is physics. It's not just something that artists made up. So the warmest of all colors is yellow. The next warmest of all colors is red. And so as we move around the color wheel, as colors move away from yellow, they get cooler. As they move away from yellow, yellow goes orange is cooler than yellow. Yellow, orange is cooler. Orange is cooler. Red is cooler than yellow. Violet, and so on. And the further away the colors get from yellow, the cooler they are. The other thing to remember is that cool equals blue. Colors that have blue in them, when sitting beside colors that don't have blue in them, are going to be cooler. So if a color obviously has blue, and if two colors are side by side, one obviously has blue, the other one doesn't, then you already automatically know that the one with blue is cooler. The reverse is true. If a color feels more yellow or more red next to another color, then it's warmer. Let's take a look at some color problems that are presented to artists as far as colors that come out of a tube. Now, one of the color problems that I see often and have for years, artists don't know the difference between, that's not what I mean. Artists will often call ultramarine blue warm and they'll call phthalo blue cool, when the reverse is true. Now let me show you what I'm talking about. Here I have, I'll just pull some white over here so you can see. Here I have phthalo blue. Now I'll mix some white with the phthalo blue and get it about a middle value so you can see what I'm talking about. I'm just going to put a little sampling of white mixed with phthalo blue right here. Now by itself it seems blue. You might call it sky blue. You can call it whatever you want to, but it doesn't, you can't really call it cool blue or warm blue so much while it's by itself. But then let's put another color beside it. Let's take ultramarine blue and add white to ultramarine blue and put it side by side with phthalo blue, and then you'll begin to see a difference between the two colors. I'm hoping the camera's going to pick this up, because a lot of times between these two colors the camera will often read ultramarine blue a little too warm. Now we can see ultramarine blue leans more towards red. So ultramarine blue would be about right here on the color wheel, and it goes a little bit more violet, so it leans a little bit more red. Whereas phthalo blue is on this side of the blue of the color wheel. It leans a little bit more towards yellow. It's a little bit greener blue, and therefore, because phthalo blue leans a little bit more towards yellow, it's a warmer blue than ultramarine blue is, which leans a little bit more towards red or towards violet. There's one explanation. Another comparison that you might make is between alizarin crimson and cadmium red. In this case I have cadmium red light, which is a little bit warmer. Alizarin crimson, I mixed a little bit of alizarin crimson here with white so that you can actually read the color. Here is alizarin crimson. Now alizarin crimson leans a little bit more towards violet. So we might call alizarin crimson red. It's not really a red. It's a little bit more like red violet. We can see when we add white to it that it actually begins to feel more violet than red. But you can actually see that comparison when we mix it, when we put it beside one of the cadmium reds. And either one of the cadmium reds would do. But let's just take cadmium red light, for example. Here's cadmium red light by itself. You see, now you can see the comparison. They're very close, but you can see that cadmium red light moves more towards yellow. So cadmium red light is a warmer color. Alizarin, when compared or when sitting next to cadmium red, is a cooler color because it moves more towards blue. So when a color moves more towards blue, has a little bit more blue in it, it's cooler as compared with one beside it that has a little bit more red. And one more comparison here that people will often confuse, and that is there are two colors that come out of the tube very, very close, very similar to each other. Phthalo green and the Rembrandt Viridian. They have pretty much the same hue. The difference is that the phthalo green is much stronger, but as far as how they behave on the color wheel, they're very close. So I'm going to use the Rembrandt Viridian. And so here we have Rembrandt Viridian mixed with white. And let's mix enough white in here so that you can actually see right here. Rembrandt Viridian mixed with white. Well, compared with all the other colors here, you can already see that it feels rather cool. It seems to fall over here in the blue-green. Whereas you take a color like sap green, in this case it's the Daniel Smith sap green, because I'm saying that because a lot of sap greens will vary according to the manufacturer. Take sap green, mix a little bit of the white in the sap green, and put it beside Viridian. You see how very different they are? Sap green obviously has more yellow in it. Sap green is more of a yellow-green, closer to yellow, leaning closer to the yellow, therefore warm. The Viridian or the phthalo has more of a blue-green, closer to blue, therefore cooler. Now the only other thing I'd like to show you, these may be obvious now that you've looked at them, but then what about a neutral? Well, you know we can get neutrals by mixing complements, and so we'll mix a little bit of alizarin in the sap green, and I'll show you a warm neutral, and then I'll show you a cool neutral. And again, you ask yourself the same question with neutrals. When you see a neutral color, and you have a doubt, is it warm or is it cool? See if it has no color in it at all, then see if it feels more like blue or more like yellow or red. If it feels more like blue, it's cool. If it feels more like yellow or red, it's warm. Now here's a neutral. Now you see by itself that neutral maybe just feels gray. Does it feel warm or does it feel cool? Well, all you have to compare is the white around it. And this would be more of a sensible. Now to me, this color feels warm. But then I could add just a little bit, change it just a little bit, and I have another neutral beside it. And now we have two. You can feel now this has more blue in it and this has more yellow in it. So you know this neutral is cool and this neutral is warm. So the way you tell whether a color is warm or cool is to refer to the color wheel. Look for how it feels. Does it feel like it has more yellow or red or blue compared to another color? If it has more yellow, it's warmer as compared to red or blue. If it has more red as compared to blue, it's warmer. If it has more blue as compared to yellow or red, it's cooler. And so you begin to work with it like that, thinking in terms of the color wheel. You should be able to read the temperature of color with no problem at all. On our website, DianeMize.com, we have numerous video tutorials, and a lot of them have to do with color and the character of color. And also on there, you have an opportunity to download some free materials, and you have the opportunity to sign up for our weekly newsletter that gets you lots of goodies out every week. So give it a try, and there's your quick tip.